This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording started. Luca Perich is such a cutie pie.
I know.
I have to say that. Every time I hear those words, it's like, oh, it melts my heart. Hey, cats and kittens! Welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Charlie the Professor Esser. And with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber from the Burg of Pits.
Phil, me, and Perich.
Hey, Philip. Welcome once again. Oh. Anyway, good thing I started drinking apple juice early, because this is an early episode of Superconnectivity. Because there are storms in Florida, and even the armadillos are having trouble protecting the great little hellfire. Her army will support her. Don't fret. But yes, so we had to flip our schedule, which means I get to talk about everything first. Yay! No longer am I tossed to the dregs of whatever we didn't get to in the other shows. So,
you didn't have a set agenda.
I have many agendas. So let's talk Helstrom.
Yes.
Because Helstrom is interesting. And this is going to tie a little bit into New Mutants, which I know you want to save for, although, honestly, if Tyler wants to come on my show, you can send him the link and say, hey, if we want to talk New Mutants, come on in. Because, Helstrom is coming.
Yes.
It actually has I want to say, is it an August release date for Helstrom? Or is it,
Let me check my notes. Yeah, because there was actually a small teaser trailer. Where do I got Helstrom? I don't have it right here, but yeah, I believe it is August.
Yeah, Helstrom is coming. Helstrom is also, interestingly enough, coming to Hulu. Yes. But is officially MCU, which means it is the first official MCU story that is popping up outside of either the films, previous stuff, or the Disney Plus stuff. Yes. Sorry,
it's October 16th.
Oh, it is October. Okay, So they did that for Halloween. I'm not going to fault them for cashing in on Halloween, but it is coming soon. New Mutants actually it's currently set for August 28th. Still on track, they say.
The new release date, yeah, August, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and for what it's worth, it's possible, Here's what I'll say. New Jersey is doing really good right now. Mm-hmm. We're the only state in the country that has driving our numbers down because Jersey's strong. And we actually aren't idiots in New Jersey, and we know to even the conservatives, I'll just wear the mask. It's okay. It's what's it going to hurt me to wear the freaking mask? That's New Jersey. We're I could wear a mask.
They're trampling on your freedom, America.
Yeah. In New Jersey, the mob already tramples on our freedom. We're okay. Oh. We know what freedom trampling looks like. And it's asking you to wear a mask when we succumbed to the tyranny of pants years ago, and so a mask, it's so much. Anyway, but yeah, so who knows?
Who knows? Charlie Esser's
New Jersey could open theaters. What's happening? Am I losing you? What's happening?
You're freezing up.
You're freezing up. Snakes eating their own tails.
Yeah,
I'm freezing up. Okay.
Yeah. I'm plugged anymore. I'm plugged directly into my router. So.
Yeah. Well, everything's operational up here. It's not even overheating yet. So, who knows? Could be storms. Could be atmospherics.
Could be.
Let me Let me close out the Facebook real quick.
Windows open. Oh, see? I closed it on my windows.
Well, except I closed out all the other windows. I didn't do a full reboot on the computer. That could be it, too. Computers are hard. But it's not even like... We're not even using the TV right now. It's on broadcast. I got broadcast back! Yay! I mean, it's really 1970s aerial time, which means... like, the old one I had an amplified aerial.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have to move it. This one's like, okay, so every time I change the channel, I have to reposition the aerial where it's going to go to get the proper signal. And of course, when you're moving the aerial, your body affects it is such an interesting skill. I think most people have lost over the years how to properly attune an aerial, because your body does affect so you'll hold it and you'll adjust it and you'll have a perfect signal. Then as soon as you let go, the signal's gone. So I'm glad I was raised in that pre-industrial society where I could know how to use a television rabbit ears to better effect. But anyway, so Helstrom is coming in October.
Yes. Which
right now is the only one with a real solid release date, with the exception of New Mutants on August 28th. Which would be neat. I mean, honestly, I'm really excited about New Mutants. I can't wait to talk about it with Tyler.
Yes.
At 9:00 on
Capes and Lunatics.
Because that looks interesting. But Helstrom is interesting because what they've released sounds very teasery. And by teasery, I mean clearly stuff that's meant as a misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
So, as an example, in the teaser, or in the description that they've given us, the children of the Helstrom twins, Damien, and Satana, are the children of a notorious serial killer. Which, sure, why not? Victoria, I believe, is supposed to be their mother. At first, because, it's a super young-looking lady that they have in the insane asylum. Thinking, wait, is there a third Helstrom? I was like, oh, wait, no, that's their mom. Because she went crazy from having a notorious serial killer's baby. As you do.
So I wonder if they could are they going to use the Helstrom series to introduce Mephisto into the MCU?
That's the question. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, we know it's supposed to be MCU, but it's also in an MCU that is separate because it's going to Hulu. And here's the thing.
I don't know if it's separate. I just would wonder if, because just the content that they're not putting on Disney Plus.
That's the interesting thing that Marvel under Feige has been able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Which is Feige is pushing the envelope. And he likes to push the envelope. That's this interesting thing. The blink and you miss it, gay, it's okay to be gay scene in Endgame.
Yeah.
Okay. Feige fought for that.
Oh.
Fought tooth and nail and said, you will not cut this out in any foreign edition. Anywhere you go, this has got to stay in. And that was the first time Marvel ever really used its clout to say, we know where the bread is buttered, and we're going to make this statement. And so, honestly, the idea of introducing the devil is maybe in its own way a less controversial thing than introducing, that gay people exist. But it's interesting because it does look like Marvel really knows that they are the ones driving the Disney train right now.
Mm-hmm.
And really feels like, we have stories to tell. Those stories are complex and deep, and they're going to make you a buttload of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think Helstrom's on Hulu, which also means it's going to be on Netflix everywhere but the U.S., which is weird because that's the weirdest thing is that I recently found out Hulu is a uniquely American thing. You can't get Hulu if you're not in the U.S., It's like you can get Disney Plus, but you can't get Hulu but it makes sense because Hulu is made up of the U.S. broadcasters. So their entrance into other markets is limited.
At this point in time, I don't know why all this stuff isn't like international, because that's like what was it last night? I know Ray was talking about he was behind on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I don't know if they get it later down there in Australia. And I said, check the ABC app, because I think, the ABC website, 'cause I think they put them up next day, and I guess they don't let them access the website from down there.
No, because if he goes to the ABC website, it takes him to the ABC website, which is the Australian Broadcasting Company.
Oh no, he said it. He went to the regular ABC site, and it said,
"No, I know."
It just said, you're not, something about don't have permission for this region or whatever.
You don't have permission for the region because in truth, they actually had to pay for those rights.
Yeah.
Despite what NordVPN tells you,
mm-hmm.
You're breaking the law. Okay? I'll tell you, they're not a sponsor. They come and sponsor us. I will say, go ahead, use your NordVPN, do whatever you need to. But right now, since they're not sponsoring us, I'll tell you the truth. You are breaking the law when you use a NordVPN to access content outside your region.
That's a little far.
Yes. Lola knows. She just don't care.
I know.
It's like, trust me, she's got her Jolly Roger flying. She knows who she is, and she's okay with it. But long story short on the whole thing, it's that So Helstrom's coming to Hulu. It'll probably be released elsewhere, or wink and a nod, bootlegged out. Which is the other thing, which is like, ABC doesn't care if you use your NordVPN to circumvent the law, because ABC is like, well, you paid for the Hulu subscription, So, yeah, and again, not Spawn. They're not paying us a dime yet, but Nord, get on this.
I'm sure eventually it'll probably hit Blu-ray and stuff, and I wonder if you'll be able to buy it digitally somewhere.
Yeah, well, everything's available eventually digitally, theoretically. And theoretically, there's probably a way that you can buy it piecemeal. Mm-hmm. And for what it's worth, it is an affront to the actors and the writers and the producers, because the deals are set for the regions that they're to be distributed in. So to get a universal distribution, you would have to pay all of the actors more. You would have to pay all of the writers more, all the directors more, etc. So, yeah, there's a lot of back and forth going on with all that. But anyway, Helstrom, we don't know much except for the fact that, as I said, their father was a notorious serial killer, which anyone who's a fan knows is going to be, well, actually, that was Satan.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's going to be interesting is if they actually go with the idea that so, for example, they could introduce Mephisto, and Mephisto not be their father.
Or what about this? What if the serial killer was just a guy, but Mephisto was, or the devil was inhabiting him? I mean, when you see the mother in the trailer, she's in the asylum. What if after the serial killer? What if after the serial killer dies? What if Mephisto's in the mother now?
Because in the original legend, it's actually it's almost a Rosemary's Baby kind of situation, because I think it was very much inspired by Rosemary's Baby. But I think the mother was supposed to be in on it.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly from the Helstrom mythos, the mother was in on it. The mother was a part of creating these Helstrom babies to be Satan's avatars on Earth. But again, like I said, it's a very interesting thing that they, at least in the current modern Marvel mythos, they are not the children of Mephisto. They are not the children of Satanish. They're not the children of the Dread Dormammu, although they may change that in the MCU too. They are the children of Satan, and Satan is missing. In the modern, Satan smells nice, according to Tristan. He's on his own little thing. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. But Satan is missing from his throne in Heck. And as a result, someone can sit on the throne, become the ruler of all the hells, yada, 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 yada. That's what Johnny Blaze is apparently currently doing, Because apparently anybody can do it. Which is...
Well, I mean, Doctor Strange and the others kind of installed Johnny Blaze in there, so, some demon didn't jump in there after Mephisto. And again, Mephisto's playing everybody. I mean, read that latest Avengers. Mephisto's playing everybody.
Oh yeah, I read Amazing Spider-Man. So yeah, this week we know. Although again, it would be interesting if that's not Mephisto.
Oh yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's supposed to.
Oh,
be,
you don't?
I think it's supposed to be somebody Spider-Man knows, because I mean, It's so. I mean, again, they drop clues about Kindred. It's. I mean, we could talk about this on Capes, but it's like supposedly it's somebody who has a thing with Peter Parker, and they mentioned something about Norman Osborn too. So.
Well, the idea of someone who can release Sin Eater from hell.
Oh yeah.
There's a very short list of people who have that ability.
I mean, Mephisto may have empowered this person, but.
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing. It's like because I get the feeling Sin Eater is supposed to be the person that we're reading the narration from.
Oh yeah,
in the previous issues, yeah. So I think it's Sin Eater who's back. Who is letting him out is the question.
Yeah.
Now it's, of course, our mind goes to Mephisto, but of course, what we forget about it is that the underworld in the Marvel Universe is actually a lot of competing nations.
Mm-hmm.
So, that could just as easily be Hela. That could be Pluto. Or that could be Persephone. You really want to go some whoa, never saw that. They have Persephone come out. It's like, no, I am the queen of the underworld. Bow.
Or who's running around in Ghost Rider right now? Lilith.
Lilith, Queen of the Demons. Yep.
That's right.
Man, that is true. That will buy you a lot of drinks. Who is Adam's first wife? Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so, I mean, obviously whoever the demon is, whoever the serial killer is that was the notorious serial killer is probably going to be someone else. So it's like they think that this notorious serial killer was their father.
Yeah.
How they present the story, was their mother an acolyte, like a Harley Quinn? Was their mother a victim of him? We don't know.
Yeah, I wonder
that's the thing. We're given lots of mysteries in this, and that's kind of interesting. And it's going to be interesting how much they integrate this into the MCU.
Yeah, I wonder if that's how they're going to play it in the beginning. They're going to think that their father was some kind of serial killer, cult leader, but then by the end they're going to be, oh no, you're the children of the devil.
Well, just to call a shelter half an entrenching tool, we kind of got an implication of this on the most recent Stargirl. Did you see the most recent Stargirl, Philip?
Yes, I did.
And we see the mom reaches out to someone about their daughter, and we see at the end that they respond.
Yes.
Which means something.
Well, I believe someone said about, what's her, about your daughter, Courtney. So I'm thinking, Courtney thinks Starman's her father. Watch, it's going to be like her uncle or something. It's going to be something.
It's going to be something. Well, I mean, it can raise any kind of concepts here. I mean, is the mom really even Courtney's mom?
Oh,
there's one for you. Starman is her father, but her actual mother is still alive.
Oh.
And is somebody else, someone named Sam, because I noticed that she called them Sam. And that's one of those names that's gender ambiguous.
Oh.
Her mom is Samantha from Bewitched. Headcanon. Mark my words. Who owns Bewitched? That could be owned by Warner Brothers now. They could have full rights to it.
Who knows? Maybe.
Who knows? Anyway, who produced the last one with Will Ferrell? So it was Warner Brothers. Something could be happening. It was a good episode, really. Stargirl this week, although man, I hated Shiv the whole time.
Daddy, let me out, I'll kill her.
I want to kill her. Let me kill her. It's like Veruca Salt is a supervillain. I want to kill her now.
And it's like, I'm like, you shouldn't, let them help you get out, because the father's probably going to kill you either way. Come on.
Yeah, and can I just raise a weird question here? Why didn't our man just turn the obvious cranks on the door instead of ripping the door? I want to impress him before I beat him up.
Not a deep thinker.
Clearly, because it's not even like it's a combination lock. It's clearly just two wheels you turn. But I get the feeling that the door is probably CGI.
Yeah, probably.
So he just knew there was going to be a door there, and then they designed the door with the wheels, and probably after they premiered this, oh shoot, that doesn't work anymore, does it? But this is going to lead to something in the next episode because the door was loosened. Solomon Grundy's going to get out, and Solomon Grundy is clearly not under anyone's control because if he was, he wouldn't be locked away.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, we got to see. Yeah.
I was going to say, do you actually think Brainwave Jr. is dead?
Not in the slightest.
No.
What was weirdest about that? We don't see Brainwave at the end of that.
Ooh. Yeah.
I was thinking, did the whole tunnel collapse and they're both under the rubble?
Because that brings up another point, but at first I was thinking, either the son or the father kind of protected him with some kind of telekinetic bubble or something.
Yeah, well, he could have protected himself with the bubble. I mean,
Or two, Brainwave Senior's powerful. That whole thing could have been an illusion that he put in their heads.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions. We don't have answers. What we know is we don't have answers. And it was really great.
Yes.
Especially seeing Brainwave have to deal with stuff, realizing that his dad killed his mom, which, the minute he says, when he remembers, when he says, mom's dead, you just said she was so cold. And immediately that's supposed to make you think that it was Icicle. Which also raises this question, are they manipulating Brainwave's memories? Which would be another interesting turn in it if, when he says, no, I am who I was. I am who I am supposed to be. I am who I always was.
Because, he was kind of in that machine. He was sitting in that machine, too, and they showed up.
Yeah, exactly. And did they maybe rewrite his memories to be more compliant?
Maybe.
With what they wanted. Because clearly this is all about building compliance. And we know that Dr. Ito, the Dragon King, who is all dragonified, we got to see him without the mask. Real looker, that one. It was weird because it's which is also kind of weird because it's what did you think he looked like under the mask? I mean, and granted, okay, we weren't expecting him to be full on, Slither, the Dragon Man, but still, you're it's a shock. But then again, they do recover from it. Okay, he's a dragon guy. I guess it was obvious since he said his name was Dragon King.
Yeah.
Although I like when she calls him Snapdragon at the start. I also thought it was interesting that when the heroes first come in, he just looks at them and tells them to go.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than, I will destroy you. He's like, just go. And then the ninjas attack and yada, yada, yada. But it is interesting. I am still waiting for my Captain Midnight Solomon Grundy meetup.
Oh, Dr. Midnight. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Dr. Midnight. Not Captain Midnight, Dr. Midnight. Captain Midnight is owned by another group.
Hey, can I say, like I told Lilith, I love Beth, but when she wears that mask, she looks like she's 12.
Honestly, Beth always looks like she's 12.
She looks even younger with that mask on.
Yeah. Well, because it's a very throwback costume.
Yes.
So it looks like something you would see a kid in the 1950s who was 12 wearing. So it's not a costume that's going to be BA'd. It's not a costume that's ever going to be sexualized.
No.
Which is good.
Yeah. No.
Honestly, it would be really nice to have some characters not be sexualized when they're teenagers.
Oh, yeah.
Or when they're adults even. It would be nice if characters just wore, clothes. I'm not saying they gotta be prudes, but, a pair of slacks and a jumpsuit,
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if it's even just, a matter of, if you let her hair stick out of that mask or something, But yeah, she looks very young in that mask.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Well, you know what it is she has a hairstyle, which is a very natural hairstyle.
Oh, yeah.
but that, implies essentially and this is sort of maybe even if you want to dig into it, it is this idea of a character who is meant not to be sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that she does not create her persona to be sexually attractive to people. I mean, she looks nice. She wants to look nice. She looks nice as she is, but she's not straightening her hair. She's not doing braids or cornrows or anything just to make herself look more in line with what a sexual identity is.
I mean,
she is being herself, and that's I think is a very nice and even in some way very empowering way to be.
I mean, except for Courtney, who just has the small mask. The rest of them, they have most of their heads covered, except for like the bottom of their face.
Yeah. Well, of course, because you got to breathe. Because everyone knows you put a mask over your face, you will be dead in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying it makes sense. Protect their identities,
Yeah, but no. I'm making a joke about masks because this was recorded during the COVID epidemic. And for those of you who are watching this in some kind of archive, centuries from now, when humanity has been replaced by cockroaches. But yeah, so it was interesting. I mean, it was a really good show. It was a really powerful Brainwave Junior story.
Yes. Just
as this guy who's trying to deal with this and everyone being crazy, and I think mostly the Pete and I'm forgetting the wife's name. Is it Amanda? I want to say the mom's name is Amanda.
Which one?
The mom. Courtney's mom.
Oh, no. Oh,
no, it's not Amanda. I don't know where I got that from. But yeah, I like their dynamic. I like the fact, and of course Pete was like, I never wanted her to do this. The stick found her.
You mean Pat?
And then when Pat. Oh, Pat, is it Pat, not Pete?
Yeah,
Pat, not Pete.
Dugan,
yeah, that's right. Okay. Shows how close I watch the show. But I do like in there also when the wand comes in to say, "Let's go get bad guys," and it's like, I can't, and it's well, and the stick just decides to go attack bad guys on its own.
I know. Yeah, the mom is Barbara.
Barbara. I don't know where I got. I don't know. Anyway, moving right along. Don't you judge me. Anyways. So, what else happens? So I like how that ends. I like the story that it's telling. I really feel we got something strong and solid from a character point of view. And I really think that it's interesting because, like I said, this is not a show. Like I said, if I could see this show falling out of my rotation very easily because it's about people that aren't. I'm not a big teen drama kind of person.
Yeah.
I was a teen. I was dramatic. I'm not anymore.
Although I'm
now a curmudgeon.
Lilith was saying yesterday, I guess they are getting some of the older viewers. It's not just purely teenagers they're getting, so.
Well, you know what? For what it's worth, it's and this is, of course, one of these things where it has at its core a very wholesome, mystic ideal that is going to be attractive to older people. And here's actually one of my biggest theories. I think a lot more of the old heroes are alive than we think.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've been in hiding as much as the villains have been in hiding. And I think that might be what the big secret with Courtney is. Not that her dad died and her mom raised her and didn't know they were superheroes, but that the superheroes realized what danger they were in, and more to the point, what danger their families were in.
Oh yeah, they never accounted for every member of the Justice Society in that battle in the first episode.
And you know what? For what it's worth, is an interesting aspect of this. You'll recall that it says that Mary was Starman's sister, who was married to Brainwave.
Yes.
Which kind of suggests that if Mary died first, there could have been this understanding among the JSA team that if we're going to protect our families, we have to get our families outside of our lives. Which means that's when they set up, raise my kid for me.
Oh,
they won't know the difference. Just tell them that this is where they belong. And Courtney, being the youngest, maybe is the one that didn't realize what had happened. you know.
Mm-hmm.
She just knew that that was her mom, and that's all she knew, because when she was born, she was taken away or she was given somewhere else. So, it's interesting. There's a lot of mystery going on, a lot of story to explore, and I'm excited about it, you know? Yeah. What's really exciting, though, is over on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, yeah, I love this week's episode.
Directed by Elizabeth Henstridge, who really, I'm going to say right now, has a future in this business. It is a solid story.
Oh, yeah.
And the time looping is, I mean, it's kind of an effect that could be used poorly, but I think it was done very well here.
Yeah, it's not an original premise, but I think they pulled it off really well.
Well, you know what I like about it is they don't revisit it. They don't revisit the things happening. Like, so Mac getting blinded.
Oh, yeah.
They don't do that over and over again. They don't have, like, alternate worlds where, oh, she was blind, and then, you know, it's like, once it's fixed, it's like, no, I know what to do. Do this, do that, do that. And then also, it's just getting, kind of reminds me of, you know, there's an old sketch you used to do in Scouts, where you do the movie set, and then, you know, and then the director would say, no, you guys are going too slow. You know, do it slower. Do it faster. No, faster. Bing, bang, boom. And so, I kind of like the way that Daisy's approaching it. Mm-hmm. And man, that has a really hard death to take.
Oh, yeah.
You know, especially because it is, and it's interesting because it is a death that is, because Enoch, spoilers, Enoch does not have, his emotional attachment is a program. But it's not a program. It's like, it is such a weird AI question.
Well, yeah, it's like the whole, you know, data from Star Trek question. It's like, you know, where does the programming end and like the, you know, the actual, their personality begin?
Well, you know, it's sort of like the idea of the ultimate logic, you know, the needs of the many versus the needs of the few.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he just reached in and went, okay, here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, I have to. But then as soon as he does it and they do it, and then he's like, oh my. And it's like, and then reality starts to come over him. And it's an interesting idea, especially when you think about it in context of The Good Place, which had, which I know you never watched, so. But for everybody else in the world who watched The Good Place, you understood that at its core, what the idea is that the meaning of human existence is its finality. That knowing that someday we will die is what causes the things we do in life to have value and meaning to us. And when you think about a character like Enoch, he existed his entire life imagining that there was not really going to be an end. And it's not to say that Chronicoms can't die or Chronicoms can't be deactivated, though arguably, you know, possibly they could, and possibly they could have died. And certainly every Chronicom they've smashed to bits isn't getting back up, you know, years later. So it's an interesting thing that they are effectively immortal, even though they are mortal, but at the same time never have to face it until just this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And at just this moment, Enoch starts to really internalize and approach and communicate humanity. You know, in a way that we know he did, but at the same time, we never saw. You know, it's a weird thing about that type of character, especially when we talk about a character like Data or Mr. Spock or anyone like that, where, and actually Data I think is a better example than Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock clearly, and all Vulcans have clearly the full panoply of emotions.
And they're biological.
They just repress. They are, honestly, there are probably a lot of Vulcan serial killers. That's why they're always sticking their con to people. You know, these are clearly not well people. They're not well adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
This is why they're sticking their car everywhere, which is why, honestly, they were lucky they met the humans, a race as despicable as themselves.
Oh.
So it's like, yeah, I personally believe that, like, really in Star Trek, people are like, oh man, those Vulcans, yeah, good thing they met the humans. 'Cause goodness knows what those two would have done had they never actually met and like fell in love with each other.
But I mean, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I love the whole Phil Coulson thing, because, Enoch's like, talking about death and, and I love Coulson. From experience, I could tell you, it's harder for, the ones who are left behind, and, it hurts at first.
Yeah.
Talking about death because he's had how many deaths?
Well, yeah, but it's also kind of interesting, this idea that they kind of recorded his deaths.
Yeah.
Which also kind of triggers into that weird idea with, if you remember with Spider-Man, when Doc Ock became the spirit Spider-Man, and like in that moment of death, his life flashes back before him, but also just so that moment of death is recorded for him, so that it's part of his memories. And I just find it all a very interesting way. But the thing is that these kinds of characters, we imprint emotions on them because we need emotions for our communication. But that they do not express emotion doesn't mean they don't have them. And what they have is they have a bonding to things. And Enoch, talking about it, man, I almost felt a little bad because they make the point that, he says, Fitz was my best friend. Says, and you were a good friend to him. It's just like, roll it back. You don't get to be his best friend, Enoch. Even in death, we're not going to lie to you. Okay? And of course, obviously, as an interesting side point in this, is he actually dead?
Yes, I did see that online. Yes, because Simmons flips out when they take that that implant out. So yeah, is that one of the things she's not supposed to remember, that Fitz is dead?
Oh no, not Fitz. No, Enoch.
Oh, Enoch. Oh, well, that was gonna be my other point. I was like, wait a minute. I know we were on a ticking clock, but can't we we've seen Chromicons, we've seen Coulson jump to different,
Well, the idea is, so for example, he may have died. Maybe they could save his programming, but this is the other interesting thing. He's a time travel duplicate now.
Yes.
Which means by Futurama law, he must die.
Or that thing he gave them to stabilize the time thing. Couldn't part of his program be in there?
I mean, theoretically, you could even think about that. It's like, now he's in the ship, and maybe that's how they're going to bring him back.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm actually here still. I am here. I sort of like, although I don't want it to be sort of like what they did with the one character at the end of Solo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's all of her charts. Her charts are in there. She's gone, but the thing that we actually used from this slave robot is still there. So we're good, and we can say that she's still a part of us.
But again, if his programming survived in the ship or something, couldn't they just build him an LMD body or something?
Well, I mean, something could happen. But actually, what I was actually thinking is there's still another Enoch out there.
True.
There are literally, every time they go to in the past, there's an Enoch there. And sort of one of these kind of things where if they gave him like a nice linear chip, it says, oh, so this is all of my future memories? And he goes, oh, fascinating. Okay, well, I guess we're best friends now.
No.
So, which would be weird and crazy, and I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if that serves any real purpose, but we'll have to see what happens next. And for what it's worth, Enoch can put on different skins, and someone could put on Enoch's skin, so...
Yeah.
Who knows who that actor is going to be next? Anyway, but, yeah. Oh, speaking of Star Trek, have you heard about Star Trek Prodigy, Phil?
Yes, I did.
Yes, and again, one of these things where we get almost nothing on it.
Yeah, because I guess it's not coming out until 2021, but...
No, it's for a while, but this is going to be a Nickelodeon series.
Yes.
And this is the Viacom group sort of branching out, where they're actually saying, okay, Disney's been doing a buttload of stuff with Star Wars. They have had huge luck with their CGI Star Wars stories. Let's do a CGI Star Trek story. But what's interesting about this is this idea that it is a derelict ship that has been commandeered by essentially runaways.
Yes.
A group of lawless teens have stolen...
Looking for adventure, I think it said.
Yeah. Looking for adventure. Well, what lawless teen isn't looking for adventure, Philip? That's 99% of young adult literature. I actually always had this idea that I wanted to write a young adult book about it was just called The Future Adventures of Perfectly Normal Girl. Where a perfectly normal girl just gets sucked into adventures, but really had no interest in any of the adventures. Like, I have school in the morning. I have things to do. I really have no interest in this adventure. Yeah. You're going to make me go along because apparently there's stuff, but let's call the police. Let's call an authority figure. I thought that would be an interesting take just because it's the complete opposite of what anyone has ever done with the storyline. But that's me, and I'm a weirdo. But yeah, but what's interesting about it is, like, when you say a derelict Starfleet ship, that can mean so much. Because, okay, why is this ship derelict? Why are these kids able to access it? Are these human children? Are these just scattered ragamuffins of the universe? And for what it's worth, in a CGI story, they can do anything. They could have one of those lion people, like from Star Trek the Animated Series, in there. They can have, they don't have to limit themselves to humanoid aliens. They could have a freaking teenage Horta with an axe to grind as the leader of the ship, which I think would be amazing. There is precedent. There is a Horta who is a starship captain in the novels. So I don't know which novel it's in, but there is a novel that has a Horta as the captain, and they've got like a little thought to voice command box. So things I know as a long-term Star Trek nerd.
Yeah, I just wonder, if somebody on the crew is going to be like a genius, or someone's going to be like the child of a Starfleet officer or something.
I actually wonder if it's going to be a ship that was tossed back in time.
Oh.
Maybe this is a ship that fell into the Mirror Universe, and these are Mirror Universe lawless teens, which would be an interesting idea if you set the story in the Mirror Universe. There's lots of possibilities that they could explore here.
Oh, Children of the Maquis.
Children of the Maquis, yeah, that, and hey, I hope they have a Ferengi on the team.
Yes.
A female Ferengi who wants to wear clothes. That actually should be their leader. Their leader should be a tough as nails female Ferengi, fully clothed all the time.
Either that, or if the Ferengi isn't part of the crew, it's somebody they keep going back to buy and trade stuff.
Oh, this would be a great time to reintroduce Armin Sherman.
Oh yeah,
get us some Quark. We miss our Quark. I'm excited about it. It sounds like fun. It is not going to be tied to Below Decks.
Nope.
Although that's an interesting question. Is when you talk about the canonicity of Star Trek, when you get into these kinds of stories, it's like, what is canon? It's like, are the Abrams stories canon? I get into a huge fight with someone about whether or not the Abrams stories are canon. They're not.
Yeah, I just wonder how big, at least Lower Decks is going to be, because did you see the description for that? It's like, it's the support crew and I think it even says the least important ship in Starfleet.
Which is basically, they said, hey, what if that, that Orville thing that people are saying is so great and the best Star Trek ever? What if we did that? What if we did the Orville, but we actually made it official Trek?
Yeah.
So
I don't know if that's going to be the Adult Swim version of it, and that
Yeah.
And then, Prodigy is going to be Nickelodeon. Yeah.
Well, I think Prodigy is going to be their Clone Wars.
Yeah.
It's going to be their deep lore, interesting exploration of whatever universe they're setting it in. And it will be interesting. Like I said, it would be really interesting if they set it in the Mirror Universe. I suggested for Patreon that we do the Star Trek Enterprise storyline, where we actually get to see the origins of the Mirror Universe. So far, people have looked down on that idea.
I'm up for Enterprise. I don't know if
I didn't see anyone saying yeah. No, I didn't see anyone defending my position. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying I think the Mirror Universe is, if we're going to do Trek on our Patreon, by the way, look up our Patreon, go down to the show notes. We have a Patreon. We talk Star Trek there because it's something we don't talk about on any of our channels.
And if you want to talk some early Mirror Universe, watch Star Trek Discovery. They do stuff with the Mirror Universe.
Okay.
So,
I will look for it.
Yes.
I've been watching Picard lately, but I've gotten to the Riker episodes, so.
Oh, what the okay. What do you?
Yeah, I don't know. I've just been letting it run, and I've been sort of like half watching it when I'm not falling asleep. And it's not that it's boring; it's just I'm always falling asleep. I fall asleep so much now; it's really kind of problematic. Anyway, but speaking of Star Trek, Star Wars, Lando might be a thing.
Oh yeah.
Apparently on, what is it called? The Kessel Run. Oh man, I'm forgetting what it's called now. But there's a podcast. Really, it's called the Kessel Run something. And I guess they got to interview Don Glover because they are not a podcast that I'm on, so they get to talk to important people. Phil gets to talk to important people. He usually says, "You don't have to show up, Charlie." That's not.
When's the last time I talked to anybody important?
You talk to all kinds of great comic creators that we all love, and they call me a dumbass. So,
scroll way down for that. But yeah, no. So
yes.
Yeah, so I guess the rumor is, Donald Glover maybe. Is he in talks for a Lando series on Disney Plus?
Well, I guess from what I understand is like he kind of said something and said, "I'm not saying it's happening, but I'm not saying it's not happening."
Oh.
And then, like Disney said, we can neither confirm nor deny that that's something that's in the works. So I would love to see a Lando story. And I actually think this is so much of where Disney wants to put Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to say, we are sick of the Skywalkers.
Oh, yeah.
We tied up their stories in a bow. Rey's buried the lightsabers. She's going to go be a moisture farmer. Everybody's happy. Let's talk about everybody else in this galaxy. Because it's one of these weird things where you realize that the Empire existed for about 20 years, and the Republic existed for at least, I'm forgetting his name from The Mandalorian, as said, but he was a slave for 4 of your human lifetimes, Like, clearly, the Republic, in all of its dysfunction, existed for hundreds, if not thousands of years before the Empire showed up and just completely collapsed in on itself. Because, not for nothing, Palpatine backed the wrong horse. Palpatine should have listened to Yoda. Send that kid back. Let him be with his mom. Let him be a moisture farmer. Try to corrupt Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan was clearly ripe for corruption. I think had he corrupted Obi-Wan, that's an alternate universe that might have been a little bit more beneficial for Palpatine.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, Obi-Wan was filled with rage over his Qui-Gon's death, so went and chopped freaking Darth Maul in half. That's not the Jedi way. Anyway, so I like the idea of Star Wars trying to explore more of their own universe, and so I would love to see the rise of one Lando Calrissian, as played fantastically by Donald Glover.
Oh, yeah.
With his cape. And the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, my God. I mean, we don't get a lot of this in Star Wars, but I mean, you have both of them. You could do some kind of time travel episode with Donald Glover and Billy D. Williams.
Oh, I mean, that would be interesting. Like I said, as you said, they don't do a lot of time travel.
Nah.
But if they did, that would be... Or, they could do a young Indiana Jones setup for it.
Oh.
Where every episode is old man Calrissian.
Oh, yeah,
Billy. Let me tell you about the time I did the Kessel Run.
Every episode is just Billy D opens up. Let me tell you a story that you just showed Donald Glover doing everything.
Yeah, which would be great. I would love Billy D. Williams as the narrator.
Yes.
Of the Donald Glover stories.
Like young Sheldon.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, that would be beautiful. It would add some trademark, wit and humor to it.
Mm-hmm.
As well, especially making it just an old man's recollections of his grand adventurous past.
Yes,
I think there's a lot to be said in that story. So yeah, I am down for the Billy D. Williams narrating the further adventures of Lando Calrissian space pirate.
Because, I mean, seriously, all we've seen really mostly of Lando is just like his time around Han Solo. Let's get some stuff before that, or, in between that. Come on.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of story to tell. That's the point. And I would very much love to see that happen. Anyway, that's a lot of stuff. Do you want to talk comic books? Do we want to save some stuff for that other show we do?
I mean,
Capes and Lunatics?
Yeah, that's fine.
Those guys, have the armadillos fought off the storm yet?
Yes, I contacted Lil Hellfire. Looks like her power is back. So yes, Capes and Lunatics should be a go.
Okay, so before we get out of here, let's just start off by saying, I know you guys like to listen to this thing, but I know sometimes we do not stimulate you enough, and your mind needs to wander. And when it needs to wander and needs to solve problems, what I would absolutely recommend you do is go to huntingkiller.com, help out Michelle Grave solve a cold case that has been stumping her, and she needs your freaking help. And huntakiller.com will send you, huntakiller.com, that's the website you go to. They're going to send you clues, ciphers, the whole rigmarole that you can then figure out to help Michelle Gray solve this case. It's kind of like having an escape room sent to your home every month. It's fun. Beyond that, just for other things for people who are helping us out here, Tweaked Audio, TWEAKED? Audio.com?
EAK.
Tweaked, TWEAKED, audio, AUDIO.com. Tweaked Audio, these are the guys that provide those amazing headsets, amazing headphones that really give you that crisp, clean audio that you want to listen to while you're listening to podcasts. So go to them, buy some of that stuff. If none of this interests you, you know what you can always do is just go down to our show notes, find that Amazon link. You're going to click on that. That's going to take you to Amazon where you can buy whatever the heck you want. I don't care what you buy. Just buy it. Costs you nothing. Helps us out the show. And while you're there, check out Pod Life, the book about podcasting that the folks here at Southgate Media Group put together to try and explain ourselves to the world for what it's worth. In the meantime, if anyone has no interest in supporting our sponsors and would just like to talk to us about comic books and mass media, Philip, how can they do that?
The easiest way is to email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And go to Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics for links to all of our stuff, social media, the YouTube, all of it. So, the Patreon.
Very good. And, of course, if you'd like to write to me that old-fashioned email way, the way our Moz and Paz once did back in the 80s and the 90s, and even the 2000s, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I did do this weekend. Through the tears, through the heartbreak, I am tweeting, this is the last season, and it says all the feels. At Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIESSER. Look for the two E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have enjoyed a little less than an hour listening to me and Phil talk about all the connections in the universe. So please come back next week and super connect with us again. Good night.
Good night.
I got that tight. That worked.
Mm-hmm. You're a star, baby. A star.
Stubbed my toe on the moon. Don't need to apologize. It's from Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court with Bing Crosby. It says, never apologize for stubbing your toe on the moon while you're reaching for the stars.